We've gone through each of the last 2 drafts already in videos like this in recent weeks, so we're going to keep that trend going by moving on to the next one, bringing us to the 2022 NBA Draft. This draft class had some studs at the top, and then a very mixed bag after that, and overall, with these players now having 3 seasons under their belts, they're proving to be a pretty strong class all things considered. What we're here to do today is go through every single first round pick from this draft, and grade how that selection has worked out for the teams making that selection 3 years later, with some home runs definitely being hit, some flops coming about, and everything in between. Before we start though, it turns out a good amount of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but it also very much appreciated. Now with that being said, let's begin. Starting with the first pick in the draft, the Orlando Magic selected Paolo Banchero, and the grade here 3 years later is an A+. Paolo Banchero has checked every box you want checked from a number 1 pick, and there really isn't a single complaint to be made about him being the first name off the board in this class. In his first season in the league, he took home the Rookie of the Year award. In year 2, he was nominated to his first All-Star team, and this year in year 3, he put up a career-high 26 points per game, leading Orlando to the playoffs for the second consecutive season. So, with him being the team's franchise pillar, this one is an easy A+ grade. Next, with the second pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder selected Chet Holmgren, and the grade here 3 years later is another A+. Chet, unfortunately, hasn't gotten as much playing experience as the others because he missed his entire first season due to injury, but last year, he was the runner-up to Victor Wembanyama in the Rookie of the Year race, and has immediately made his presence felt on both ends, helping Oklahoma City emerge as a dominant playoff contender. Chet is an elite shot blocker, playing a big part in the Thunder's number 1 ranked defense. On offense, he serves as a stretch big, knocking down threes, operating in pick and pop situations, and running in transition, and he just managed to fit in seamlessly to what the Thunder want to do, so I doubt they have anything negative to say about this pick. Next, with the third pick, the Houston Rockets selected Jabari Smith Jr., and the grade 3 years later is a B-. In the lead up to this draft, Jabari was actually viewed by many as the number 1 ranked prospect in the class, so when he slipped to 3rd, it came as a bit of a surprise, but in hindsight, that slide was absolutely the right call. In Houston, Jabari has helped flip the culture on defense for this young group, and his energy and motor are a big part of why this team was top 5 on defense this season. But offensively, Jabari has not been able to improve much at all 3 years in, which is pretty disappointing. He's a 12-point scorer, shooting the ball at a league average rate at best. He struggles creating separation to generate his own looks off the dribble, and he's looking much more like a role player at his best, which is fine, but a bit disappointing for a top 3 pick. Next, with the fourth pick, the Sacramento Kings selected Keegan Murray, and the grade here after 3 years is a C+. Murray started his career red hot as a sharpshooting forward that knocked down 41% of his threes in his rookie season, and started at power forward from day one, helping the Kings snap their playoff drought that year. Since then though, Murray has been trending in the wrong direction, and if his 3-ball isn't going in at an above average rate, then it's difficult to find other aspects of the game that he impacts at a high level. He's gone from a 41% 3-point shooter as a rookie to making just 36% from deep last year to then 34% this year, so the hype has definitely fizzled. Next, with the fifth pick, the Detroit Pistons selected Jaden Ivy, and the grade here is a B+. The appeal with Ivy as a prospect was his blistering speed and ability to put pressure on the rim non-stop, so the vision for Detroit was to have him and Cade Cunningham star in the backcourt together for years to come. His first 2 seasons saw some ups and downs, but this year, things were really starting to click on all cylinders for him, and not only was he providing excellent secondary playmaking and scoring by averaging about 18 points and 4 assists per game, but he was also shooting the ball incredibly well, making 46% of his shots and 41% of his threes. The Pistons could really use his shot making right about now, but unfortunately, he suffered a season-ending injury back in January, so next year he'll hopefully pick right back up where he left off. Next, with the 6th pick, the Indiana Pacers selected Benedict Mathern, and the grade here 3 years later is a B. Mathern is another volume-scoring combo guard who has consistently put up between 15 and 17 points per game in his 3 seasons to this point, and he's in the rotation to jumpstart the offense, whether it be in the starting lineup or off the bench. He's a bit of a wild card, and you'd like to see his 3-point shot improve a bit, but overall he's proving his worth as a top 10 pick for a playoff team. Next, with the 7th pick, the Portland Trailblazers selected Shaden Sharp, and the grade here 3 years later is a B+. 3 picks in a row, we saw some exciting young guards come off the board, and Sharp was easily the most explosive athlete of the bunch. He actually reclassified to be able to be in this draft class, so he never ended up playing a season of college basketball, so he was a bit of a mystery as a prospect, but he's now honing in his unbelievable explosiveness to become a 19-point per game scorer who attacks the basket relentlessly and has a useful pull-up mid-range jumper that will hopefully continue to expand out to the 3-point line. Next, with the 8th pick, the New Orleans Pelicans selected Dyson Daniels, and the grade here 3 years later is a C. Now, I want to be very clear here, this C grade is for the Pelicans selecting him, not the grade for Daniels as a player. Obviously, if the Atlanta Hawks were the ones who drafted Dyson Daniels here, the grade would be much higher, since Daniels is now breaking out here in Atlanta as a lockdown defender and reliable two-way player for them, but in his 2 seasons spent in New Orleans, the Pelicans struggled to find a way to get the best out of him, and he wasn't even a consistent member of their rotation half the time, so the pick didn't quite work out as well for them. Next, with the 9th pick, the San Antonio Spurs selected Jeremy Sohan, and the grade here is a C+. Sohan is one of the best young defenders from this class, providing versatile impact and switchability onto all kinds of matchups, but offensively, he really hasn't shown any kind of improvement at all, and for someone without a single notable strength on that end, it's somewhat worrying. Sohan is a decent passer for a forward, he's a below-average shooter, he's not really a shot creator, and in most lineups, he's the 5th option. Next, with the 10th pick, the Washington Wizards selected Johnny Davis, and the grade here is an F. I hate to say it, but Davis is one of the worst lottery picks of the last decade. Through 3 seasons, there has never been a point where he even earned consistent playing time at the NBA level, he's not even dominating in the G League, and after being drafted this high specifically because of his ability to score the basketball, he's been one of the worst scorers in the entire NBA in the minutes that he has gotten, so it's not looking like his time in the NBA will last much longer. Next, with the 11th pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder traded for the pick to select Usman Jen, and the grade here is a D. Jen was taken as a known project of a pick through 3 years, though he's really struggled with the pace and physicality of this level of play. It also doesn't help that the Thunder have quickly become one of the best teams in the league over the last 2 years, so their margin for error doesn't really allow for growing pains and mistakes of young guys anymore, but he has been terrific in the G League, so there is promise he could be something down the line, he just has not really shown it at the NBA level yet. Next, with the 12th pick, the Oklahoma City Thunder selected Jaylen Williams, and the grade here is an A+. Luckily for the Thunder, they had another pick right after that one, making it 3 lottery picks in one night, and they once again hit this one out of the park. Jaylen Williams wasn't necessarily a household name at the time of the draft, but he is now arguably the 2nd best player in the entire draft class, behind Banchero, and was named to his first All-Star team this season. He's the number 2 on OKC, right next to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, putting up about 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists a night, and he's also one of the best wing defenders in the entire NBA, making him an outstanding two-way stud. Next, with the 13th pick, the Detroit Pistons selected Jaylen Duran, and the grade here is a B+. Duran is an automatic double-double at the center position, averaging about 12 points and 10 rebounds per game this season, helping the Pistons make the playoffs for the first time since Blake Griffin was in town. Duran's touch around the basket, motor on the offensive glass, and impressive mobility and athleticism pair well with Cade Cunningham in the pick and roll. He just definitely needs to work on improving as a defender with his awareness on that end of the floor if he wants to be a full-time playoff anchor. Next, with the 14th pick, the Utah Jazz traded for the pick and got themselves Ochai Anbaji, and the grade here is a B-. Anbaji spent the first year and a half of his career in Utah and then got traded to Toronto in a trade that got the Jazz a first-round pick back. Anbaji started slowly, but this year has finally started to emerge as the 3-and-D sniper he was drafted to be, so it's looking like a win for both sides in that deal. Next, with the 15th pick, the Charlotte Hornets selected Mark Williams, and the grade here is a B. Mark Williams is a beast inside at the center position who, as a 7-footer, moves extremely well and dominates the pick-and-roll game while absorbing rebounds, but his issue is that he just can't stay healthy. Through 3 seasons, he has played in just 106 out of a possible 246 games played, which is less than half, and it's hard to give a better grade to someone who's just never available regardless of his talent. Next, with the 16th pick, the Atlanta Hawks selected AJ Griffin, and the grade here is an F. This one stings because after 2 seasons in the NBA, Griffin chose to retire from the game, so his career is already over, and for a mid-first round pick, that's a waste of an asset. Next, with the 17th pick, the Houston Rockets selected Tari Een, and the grade here 3 years later is an A. Eason is a gem of a find for a first-round pick, as he has become one of the most impactful bench players in the entire league for a Rockets team that broke out to finishing as the 2 seed this year in the West. Eason is truly an elite defensive talent who ranks amongst the league leaders in steals while coming off the bench, and offensively, he can do a little bit of everything for you, so the ability to plug and play him anywhere gives the Rockets so many options for lineups. Next, with the 18th pick, the Chicago Bulls selected Dalen Terry, and the grade here is a D. There's unfortunately just nothing really impressive about Terry's game 3 years in, and he fell out of the rotation to close out the season for the play-in tournament. With averages of 4.5 points and 1.3 assists per game, he's just not providing the type of return that a first-round pick should at this point in their careers. Next, with the 19th pick, the Memphis Grizzlies traded for the pick to select Jake Laravia, and the grade here is a B-. Laravia has become a nice stretch 4 to have in a team's rotation, and for someone who has developed a proven skill set, that's all you can really ask for from the guys in this middle to late first round. He got traded to Sacramento at the deadline this year, but on the season as a whole, he was a 42% three-point shooter, which is pretty great. He's just not the most versatile talent right now. Next, with the 20th pick, the San Antonio Spurs selected Malachi Brham, and the grade here is a C. Brham has flashed creativity and shot creating potential at times, but overall, he's been steadily declining 3 years in a row now. After 2 years playing about 20 minutes a night, he saw his role get reduced significantly this season because he's still not a good defender, and he isn't reliable enough to handle the ball consistently. Next, with the 21st pick, the Denver Nuggets selected Christian Braun, and the grade here is an A. For a late first-round pick, Braun is pretty much exactly what you could hope to find. He patiently waited for his time to come, he worked incredibly hard behind the scenes, and he developed into someone who now starts at the shooting guard position for the Nuggets, putting up 15 points and 5 rebounds per game, hitting a ridiculous 58% of his shots and 40% of his threes, playing incredibly well off of the playmaking of Nikola Jokic, constantly moving without the ball, and playing with a non-stop motor. Next, with the 22nd pick, the Utah Jazz traded for the pick that became Walker Kessler, and the grade here is another A. Back-to-back picks here, we saw 2 of the biggest steals in the class, as Walker Kessler has become a very solid starting center in this league. Kessler finished the season averaging about 11 points and 12 rebounds per game. He actually led the NBA in offensive rebounds per game, generating tons of second-chance points, and he also consistently ranks in the top 5 of the NBA in blocks per game year after year. Next, with the 23rd pick, the Memphis Grizzlies traded for the pick that selected David Roddy, and the grade here is an F. Unfortunately, Roddy has not had much of an NBA career, and 3 years in is already at a point where he's fighting to even stick around. Roddy's a big-bodied forward who has been traded twice already, and then was waived by the Atlanta Hawks, which has resulted in him most recently being on a 2-way contract with the Rockets, and 3 years in, first-round picks are definitely not supposed to be on 2-way contracts. Next, with the 24th pick, the Milwaukee Bucks selected Marjon Bocek, and the grade here is another F. I'm going to have to warn you all, the end of this first round in this class was rough, so this will not be the last F given out either. He also got traded and then waived shortly after, and is now on a 2-way contract with the Knicks, and the same logic applies. Being a first round pick that ends up on a 2-way contract 3 years in is a failure. Next, with the 25th pick, the San Antonio Spurs selected Blake Wesley, and the grade here is a D. Wesley's fate never reached the same level of the last two picks, but so far, he has not looked like an NBA player really at all. As a supposed scorer by nature, he's putting up about 4 points per game, shooting 43% from the field and just 29% from three, making it hard to trust him with more minutes. Next, with the 26th pick, the Minnesota Timberwolves traded for the pick to select Wendel Moore Jr., and the grade here is another F. I won't ramble on with the details again. Moore also never saw the court early on, got traded, then got waived, and is now on a two-way contract with the Charlotte Hornets, fighting for his NBA life. Next, with the 27th pick, the Miami Heat selected Nikola Jokic, and the grade here is a B. In the middle of a lot of garbage, the Heat managed to find some gold, as Jokic is now a genuinely impactful player in their rotation at the power forward position. Jokic is putting up about 11 points per game, he's a reliable shooter hitting 37% of his threes after making 40% of his threes last season, and he's an above-average defender that holds his own too. Next, at the 28th pick, the Golden State Warriors selected Patrick Baldwin Jr., and the grade here is another F. Same story as the rest here, he couldn't find playing time on the Warriors, got traded, then got waived, and is now on a two-way contract with the Clippers. Next, with the 29th pick, the Houston Rockets traded for the pick to select Tai Washington Jr., and the grade here is yet another F. Washington didn't even make it past his rookie season in Houston before getting traded and waived, and over the last two seasons, he has bounced around on two-way contracts with the Bucks and the Suns. And finally, with the last pick of the first round, 30th overall, the Denver Nuggets traded for the pick to select Payton Watson, and the grade here is a B. Amid all of the garbage surrounding him, the Nuggets found a useful rotational player at the very end. Watson isn't flashy by any means, but he holds his own on defense, he cuts well off the ball, he brings good energy, and puts up about 8 points per game off the bench for the 4 seed in the West this year, contributing for a playoff team. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about this draft class 3 years later. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.